is going on, you guys? It is Livid Fray. Hope you guys are all doing very well today. A little while ago, I put a poll up on my channel basically asking you guys what you wanted to see next, and the majority of you all wanted the same thing, which is which gear sets are actually worth keeping versus scrapping. So we're going to be talking about that today. Originally, I was going to place these gear sets into a tier list, but I decided against that because I know a lot of you might look at the tier list itself and make the decision to scrap gear sets that you might actually really enjoy playing with. So instead, what we're going to do is talk about each set individually for just a moment and go over my thoughts and explain which gear set fits which playstyle, and finally what I think is actually worth keeping versus scrapping just based off my personal preference. I would like to take a brief moment just to thank my channel members. It's thanks to these guys that I'm able to put out content just like this. I'm greatly appreciative of your guys' support. Becoming a channel member gives you access to unique benefits such as access to a private Discord server and badges and emotes to use during my live streams and in my video comments. If you're interested in becoming a channel member, just check out the description. There's a link that'll take you right to it, and it'll go over all of the benefits that you'll receive once becoming a member. Without any further delay, let's get into these gear sets and find out which one works the best for you. There are 14 gear sets overall, so we're going to be moving somewhat quickly. If you are interested in more of an in-depth explanation into each gear set, odds are I've covered it already, so make sure to check out the playlist that I'll link in the description. If I haven't covered it, just leave a comment and then I will consider covering yours next. We are going to be going in alphabetical order, so we're going to start off first with AlphaBridge. AlphaBridge is a really fun and unique gear set that shines the most for solo players, offering solid utility through its 3 and 5-piece bonuses, including bonus weapon damage and ignored weapon talent requirements. Its 4-piece talent can be valuable, especially in creative builds while using the Ninja Bike backpack. However, AlphaBridge does fall really short in raw damage output compared to some of the other gear sets that are in the game, making it a less viable option for some of the higher tier PvE and PvP content. The 6-piece bonus is especially underwhelming and really situational, replacing team-based signature skills with less reliable alternatives. I recommend AlphaBridge mostly for early game progression, underground and dark zone farming, and not so much for legendary missions or incursions or PvP. Overall, it's worth experimenting with as a 4 or 5-piece setup, but the full 6-piece classified really should be avoided. I would scrap extra pieces unless they fill a very specific niche with your builds. I have seen a lot of really experienced pro veteran players using AlphaBridge 6-piece in Last Stand, but those players have been around for a really long time and they have a lot of understanding on how the game works and the mechanics. So I would say as you play, definitely try it out for yourself in PvP to see if it works for you, but I would say that it's definitely not a very popular set in the PvP community. Our next set is going to be Banshee's Shadow. Banshee is a specialized PvP focused gear set that shines exclusively in the Dark Zone, offering one of the highest damage outputs in the game, especially against rogue agents. Despite its limited use outside of the Dark Zone, the advantages that it offers in that space far outweigh the downsides. It's highly recommended to keep Banshee pieces and build towards a full set if you plan to PvP, even occasionally. Moving on to our next set, we are looking at D3 FNC, which is a really powerful niche gear set designed for players who enjoy a true tanky playstyle. It offers unmatched frontline durability and enables the use of an SMG alongside a full body shield, with bonuses that increase the shield's resilience, team toughness, and protection from elites. This makes it one of the best PvE gear sets for high-end difficulty content like legendary missions and incursions. D3 can also be used for PvP, however, just keep in mind that the large hitbox and playstyle of this gear set puts you at a high risk without proper positioning and experience. It does take some time to master, but in the hands of a skilled player, it can turn the tide for difficult encounters. This set does rank high on my list to keep, though it's really only worth holding onto if the tank role actually fits your preferred playstyle. Personally, I keep a single D3 loadout to one character, and I don't really feel the need for multiple copies. Our next gear set is DeadEYE. DeadEYE stands out as one of the highest raw damage output gear sets in the Division 1 thanks to its guaranteed critical hits while scoped in with MMRs and in cover. Because critical hit damage is a multiplicative bonus, this set becomes especially deadly in PvP, where the trade-off for reduced headshot damage is more than compensated by the guaranteed critical hits. While it can be used effectively in PvE, it's generally outclassed by other sets like Sentry's Call or Hunter's Faith, which maintain a higher value through headshot bonuses and more consistent multipliers. The 6-piece bonus for DeadEYE is very situational and is rarely useful in PvP. It can be viable in PvE with more rapid-fire MMRs like the SVD or the Devil and Heal combo. DeadEYE does not require a full 6-piece classified setup to be effective, making it a really strong option for players early in the game. It is absolutely worth keeping if you enjoy the sniper playstyle and if you need a reliable high damage build to start with. Our next gear set is Final Measure. Final Measure is best classified as a versatile team support gear set, offering unique utility that few others provide. It's one of only 2 gear sets in the Division 1 that grants additional protection from elites alongside exotic damage resilience and the ability to defuse grenades every 8 seconds, making it extremely valuable in grenade-heavy fights. The 6-piece bonus enhances this by granting team-wide buffs based on the type of grenade that's defused, further strengthening its support role. While its use in PvE is situational and best suited for specific missions and incursions like Falcon's Lost, it excels in PvP where it can dramatically increase your team's survivability. Final Measure can be built as a healer, a tank, or even a DPS player, and is effective even as a 4-piece setup without needing the classified gear or the bonuses. It is definitely worth keeping at least one full set of classified Final Measure, and its flexibility makes it a great tool for any support-focused player. Our next gear set is FireCrest. Now, FireCrest is a flashy but often really misunderstood gear set in the Division 1. It's really popular amongst casual players, but limited in practical use at higher levels of content. Its bonuses focus primarily on incendiary grenades and flame turret enhancements, as well as a multiplicative 15% damage boost to burning enemies, making the 4-piece a pretty viable bonus, but still outclassified by other damage sets. The 6-piece adds a chance to ignite enemies with bullets and causes burning enemies to explode on death, with you being able to ignore that explosion. With added burn duration scaling off electronics, it's best supported as a 10k electronics build. However, in practice, fire effects often disrupt group synergy by scattering enemies and interfering with crowd control like flashbangs, which can hurt the group more than help. FireCrest often struggles to find a solid role in legendaries or incursions where sets like Tactician or Reclaimer offer far more value. While it's not without potential in the hands of experienced players, FireCrest is generally safe to scrap for Division tech if you're low on space or focused on higher tier builds. We're now moving on to one of my personal favorite gear sets in the game, which is Hunter's Faith. Hunter's Faith is an MMR focused gear set that rewards precision with high damage potential, offering stacking bonuses similar to Hunter's Battlegear, but with a much harsher penalty, as missing shots removes the entire damage bonus, with the 6-piece reducing that penalty by allowing you to miss 1 extra shot. The set also offers additional headshot damage and optimal range, making it more forgiving and rewarding when used effectively. While I mentioned it's one of my personal favorites for maximizing MMR damage and practicing your accuracy, it caters more to a niche player base and lacks the broad appeal of an easier, more consistent set like DeadEYE or Sentry's Call. And because of those punishing mechanics, most players will likely prefer alternatives to both PvP and PvE. That being said, Hunter's Faith is still really worth experimenting with if you enjoy a precision-based sniper playstyle, but if MMRs really aren't your thing, then it's probably safe to scrap it in more favor of accessible builds. I would say that keeping Sentry or DeadEYE is best when first starting out, and treat Hunter's Faith as more of a specialized alternative. We're now moving on to LoneStar. LoneStar is dedicated primarily to LMG and shotgun damage and also comes with additional ammo capacity. Adding on to the extra ammo capacity bonus, at the 4 pieces of LoneStar you're able to instantly reload your weapons when you swap them. At 6 pieces there's a chance to activate a unique bonus when half of the magazine has been depleted. Instead of the weapon needing to be reloaded, it will instead reload itself automatically when the magazine becomes empty, and it also gives you a 30% extra damage and rate of fire increase, essentially half of attack link. LoneStar is highly favored in the player base by both PvE and PvP, and is easily worth keeping across all characters. Our next gear set is Path of the Nomad. Nomad is definitely a solo player's best friend. It allows the user to instantly receive full HP instead of taking fatal damage, and this can happen once every 4 minutes. The 5 and 6 piece bonuses allow the user to receive more passive healing from the set and the ability to overheal from the talent, as well as a 50% chance to receive no cooldown on the instant heal mechanic. Nomad can be adjusted for both PvE and PvP. I would say not to use a full 6-piece classified in PvE unless you're doing something solo like Falcon's Lost. You can use some of like the 3 and 4 piece bonuses for PvE, absolutely, especially with ninja bike builds if that's what you have available to you. That extra health on kill does go a long way, but I would say that a 6-piece classified Nomad is best used against other players. It's easily considered a set to keep pieces for. I don't personally use it. I only have, I think, 1 loadout in my stash and that's it. I don't actually have anything equipped to my characters, but the majority of the player base does have Nomad in their arsenal. Our next set is going to be Predator's Mark. Predator's Mark is another fan favorite of the franchise, thanks to its powerful bonuses of the 2 most commonly used PvP weapons, assault rifles and SMGs. It does work extremely well in both PvP and PvE. It also comes with strong reload speed bonuses and a signature bleed effect that punishes enemies for sustained fire. At 6 pieces with 9,000 stamina, the improved Predator's Mark talent becomes a lethal damage over time mechanic that ignores bleed resistance and can critical hit, making it incredibly effective in high stamina builds. Players should absolutely hold on to pieces until they can complete at least a full 9,000 stamina setup where the set reaches its full potential. Keeping extra pieces for PvP variants is also highly recommended for flexible and aggressive playstyles. When it comes to PvE, I would not run Predator's Mark any other way than 9,000 stamina. However, for PvP, you can definitely run with more higher DPS Predator's Mark builds and perform pretty well. This set also pairs extremely well with Banshees, considering you're getting that extra damage to targets out of cover on top of the extra damage that you receive from the Predator's Mark, I believe 3 and 4 piece bonuses. A really popular gear set in the PvP community is known as Battlegear, where you pair up that damage to targets out of cover bonus alongside the SMG and AR damage from Predator's Mark. Our next gear set is Reclaimer. Reclaimer is an ultimate support healer gear set in the Division 1, built entirely around maximizing the power and uptime of the support station. An absolute fan favorite for team play, it combines the effects of all 3 support stations, life, immunizer, and ammo cache, making it invaluable for both PvE and coordinated PvP scenarios. Its set bonuses drastically increase range, duration, health, and healing output, ensuring your team stays alive and well supplied. At 9,000 electronics, the 6-piece bonus guarantees instant recovery of your support station if it's destroyed by an enemy, ensuring nearly uninterrupted support during these intense fights. Players should collect and hold Reclaimer pieces for full 9k electronics builds for PvP, putting the rest into stamina, I would say. At 10k electronics for PvE, especially for dedicated healer roles or to anchor a strong team composition. It's not really recommended to use Reclaimer for any other scenario other than a full 6-piece classified set, simply due to the poor standards the non-classified version is placed in. It's okay for content like challenging, but it shouldn't be used for any legendaries or incursions unless it's a full 6-piece classified, especially just due to the healing speed bonus that it gives at 6 pieces. Now we're really getting into some of my personal favorites, starting with Sentry's Call. Sentry is a powerful PvE focused gear set designed to amplify team damage and personal output damage through consistent headshots. It's best used with semi-automatic weapons to mark the enemies, stacking up to 6 marks with the 6-piece bonus, which increases damage taken to the target by 30% from all sources, including skills. While it offers excellent crowd control and damage potential in group content, it sees little to no value in PvP due to the 6-piece not being activated. It is reliant on headshots and build markup. It's still worth keeping across multiple characters for PvE purposes if your playstyle favors precision and support via damage amplification. Sentry's Call thrives in coordinated team play, especially when paired with skill builds or high DPS allies who can capitalize on marked targets. Predator's Mark bleed also capitalizes on Sentry stacks, so the bleed will do 30% more. Our second to last gear set, and again one of my personal favorites, is Striker's Battlegear. Striker is possibly the most iconic and widely used gear set in the franchise, known for its powerful stacking damage and self-healing mechanics. It excels in both PvE and PvP, but is best utilized in PvE thanks to its bonus enemy armor damage, which is more effective against NPCs rather than agents. In PvP though, its value comes from more maintaining stacks and sustaining through healing rather than pure damage output. The 6-piece bonus rewards consistent accuracy with ramping damage and health regeneration, making it ideal for players who stay aggressive and on the target. It's strongly recommended to keep Striker pieces across all characters and only scrapping ones that are outclassed by better rolls. Striker also offers unique damage bonuses based off of how much stamina you have for every 3,000, so you can start off at 3k to 6k to 9k stamina, and it's going to offer you better healing bonuses based off of which range that you prefer. I would say in PvP, it's more favored towards a 6k stamina Striker. Players would rather rank up that damage considering the healing in PvP is so mitigated anyway. And finally, our last gear set is going to be Tactician's Authority. Tactician is easily another fan favorite gear set in the Division 1, ideal for skill focused builds that thrive on high uptime and power. It boosts both skill haste and skill power with a unique stacking mechanic that rewards hitting enemies with bullets or skills to ramp up skill power up to 30%, or even 60% with the 6-piece bonus. This makes it highly effective in PvE and viable in PvP when played correctly. Whether you're dealing damage with turrets, secret mines, or stickies, or supporting with pulses and heals, keep in mind that skill haste is capped at 50% and skill power soft caps around 450,000. It can still scale higher, it's just going to have diminishing returns. I do recommend Tactician across all characters in different aspects. Tactician is definitely worth holding on to, unless it's clearly outclassed by better rolled pieces. So there you guys have it. There is my general consensus on which gear sets are actually worth keeping versus scrapping. If you guys noticed, there really weren't many gear sets that I recommend that you scrap. It's just that a lot of these gear sets are going to help you out a lot earlier on than others, and other gear sets are really only useful in earlier types of content rather than later. Hopefully this gave you guys some kind of general consensus on which ones are going to work best for you. I would say that there's only one gear set that is collectively worth scrapping, and that's FireCrest. I really only recommend FireCrest FireCrest for a really experienced player that knows the AI behavior and the mechanics on how to use a flame turret. However, I still generally recommend that you guys try out everything and see what works best for you. I mean, there's 14 gear sets, odds are one of them is going to speak to you more than others. But I do hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you all so much for watching. I will see you in the next video. Have a great rest of your day.